And I made some changes, so I'll try and go slowly when I get to the changes. I can't hear you.
Yeah, hello, dear Lama, English channel. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, okay, I will try to do my best. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it seems like the class has grown smaller and smaller. Well, we'll wait a few minutes.
Dear Lama, I think many people are going to Malaysia, and
Yeah,
that's why maybe they are traveling right now because in maybe 10 hours will be classes
right.
with Geshe-la. Maybe people
That's a
are
good point.
traveling.
Well, I wonder if we should postpone class until till 2 weeks from now. I think that might be a good idea. Hmm. So this is being recorded, correct? Well, there's Katrina. Hmm. Well, let's go ahead and have class, and we'll see what happens. Hi, Katrina. Okay, let's start with mandala. Katrina, can you do the mandala for us?
Вот великая земля, наполненная ароматом благовоний, укрытая покрывалом из цветов. Великая гора, 4 континента, украшенные драгоценностями, солнцем и луной. В своем воображении я вижу храм Будды и подношу их все тебе. И с этим деянием пусть каждое живое существо сможет ощутить чистый мир. Идам Гуру Ратнамандалакам Нирьятаями.
Okay, who's going to do refuge? Anna, can you do refuge for us?
Я принимаю
Yes.
прибежище в Будде, Дхарме и Санхе, пока не достигну просветления. Силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления ради каждого живого существа. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дхарме и Санхе, пока не достигну просветления. И силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления ради каждого живого существа. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дхарме и Санхе, пока не достигну просветления. Силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления ради каждого живого существа.
I think I may have changed my mind. I think we may postpone this till. Yeah, let's postpone this class until we meet again after the guest list. Now they're going to be traveling that day too, most likely. Oh, this is a mess. Well, I need to think about this. Let me get to my calendar.
Yeah, Lama, in theory, we can do 2 classes later, one by one,
Yeah. Well, but they're
like
going
a
to be
variant.
they're going to be traveling on Monday, the 13th as well. Huh. Well, let me look at the schedule a little bit better. Okay, so the 13th, we should have 2 classes. Well, we'll figure it out. I'd like to postpone class until the 13th. So we won't have class today. We'll have class on the 13th, and regardless of whether people are here or not. I'm changing my mind again. We'll just do class. The heck with it. We'll do class. Okay, let me get back to. There we go. Okay, we're going to have class today, and they can listen to it and catch up. Okay, so, yes, Anna, you have a question?
Да, я хотела сказать, потому что потом в Вене будет тоже с
Yes,
Джоном Брэди.
I want to say that
16-18.
later, 16-17 will be some event with John Brady.
Oh,
So people also cannot come, I think.
Well, we're just going to have class anyway, and they can listen to the recording. There's got to be a priority, and well, I'll leave it up to the students. I'm not going to get upset about it. Okay, so rejoicing. Ekaterina, what do you have to rejoice in today?
Я радуюсь тому, что у нас
I'm glad that
такое время с мужем вдвоем, дети уехали.
we have time with my
У нас
husband
была годовщина
together.
свадьбы,
My children
больше
are
времени
going to visit
были вдвоем.
my parents, and we had wedding
Очень
anniversary, and we will be
отношения,
together with my
которые
husband.
есть по
And I also
завершению курсов.
and I also
Радуюсь, что занятия есть.
keep my promise to
Это здорово.
finish ACI
Надо
courses.
продолжать обучать.
I am moving in this process, so I am glad that we have class today. Thank you.
Okay, well, have fun with your little vacation from your children, and continue working on your courses. That's very important. If you get behind, there's a tendency to stop working. So keep up with it. Okay, Daria, what do you have to rejoice in today?
Good morning, Lama Sumati. I rejoice. Today is a happy birthday, Dalai Lama, 14,
Well, right.
and I'm very happy. See this beautiful man.
Very good. I had forgotten that. Yes, happy birthday, Your Holiness. May you live long and prosper. Okay. Anna, what do you have to rejoice in?
Я хотела порадоваться, что мне удалось помочь сегодня
I am glad that
глубокому
I
старому человеку, у которого
have
сломалась машина.
possibility
Я
to
приняла
help
участие, чтобы
very
спасти
old
ему ему.
person. His car was broken, and I participate
Это только
to
я
bring this car to
вот
service for
сегодня я,
repairing.
наверное, готовила здоровый еду для своих детей.
And also today I cooked a healthy meal for my family.
What did you have?
Салаты в основном.
Mainly
Салат,
salads,
Salad.
vegetables.
Oh, good. What did I have? I haven't had dinner yet. What am I going to have for dinner? I don't know. I haven't cooked it yet. Have to think of that. Okay. So Anna, translator, what do you have to rejoice about?
Hello, dear Lama. And hello, everyone. I rejoice that I have possibility to translate today. I have time for this. And I also happy of my mom. She has a good mood, maybe 2 or 3 days. So I'm happy that she's happy. That's all for me. Thank
Good.
you.
Okay, what am I rejoicing in? I rejoice that I didn't give up. I'm researching for an article. I needed to find a single piece of information about both an old program I've written about and a reasonably new one. And I spent 3 days looking for this information, and I finally found it, not by searching my database, but by thinking where I put it. And I put this particular information in a file on my computer about 6 years ago. And I figured out where it was, and I found it, and it did have the information I wanted. So I'm pretty pleased that I can still, with my progressing Parkinson's, I can still understand and find what I need. So that's actually very comforting. Okay, Olga, what you have to rejoice in? Well, I guess Olga's in there. There she is. No, there she is.
Да,
Hi, Olga.
я в последнее время тренирую радость тому, что входит
Last
старый
time
платформе, да,
I am
разъединение,
training
связь пропадает в течение дня несколько
to
раз,
be
и
joyful. I
без
have
связи.
bad connection, and time to time I
Ну и
don't
вот так
have
вчера,
internet.
когда в обед погуляла в лесу и
And also
собирала землянику и чернику.
in afternoon, I have possibility to have
Есть
a
такой
walk
способ
in
в обед на
forest.
работе выйти в лес.
I have this possibility when I walk. I have a forest near me, and I can walk through it.
Wow, that must be beautiful. Okay, here we go. Oh, for crying out loud. Okay, so we have a review question. Please give me the definition of material cause and an important implication. What's the definition of a material clause and an important implication from this definition? Go ahead.
Я помню, что материальная причина – это то,
I remember that material cause,
это, например,
it's something that brings the result. It's something like clay for a pot.
материальная причина и результат должны быть
Okay.
друг другу.
And material cause and the result must be similar.
Oh, man. Okay. Something that comes before. Anything which brings about a working thing primarily is a continuation of the same material. So yes, the material cause for a pot would be the clay. The contributing factor is the potter. The important implication is we use this to show that only a previous instance of mind can bring about a current instance of mind. Proof of past and future lives. Anything which brings about a working thing primarily as a continuation of the same material. So, our current mind must be a continuation of a past mind. And that's our proof of past and future lives. What are the three relationships to prove a logical statement? There are three relationships. Consider sound. It is a changing thing because it is made. So there are three relationships within this logical statement. 1 equals 3. Consider sound because it's made. Okay, that's true. Sound is made. So 1 equals 3. That's valid. 3 equals 2, the positive necessity. Because it is made, it's a changing. Whoops, gosh darn it. Because it is made, it is a changing thing. That's true too. Changing things are by default. Made things are by default changing things. And the last one is, if not 2, not 3, the negative necessity. If it is not a changing thing, so it's unchanging, then it can't be made, because unchanging things are not made. So let's go through that again. 1 equals 3. Consider sound because it is made. A sound is made, so that's valid. Because it is made, it is a changing thing. 3 equals 2. Yes. Because something's made makes it a changing thing. And then if it's an unchanging thing, then it can't be made. And that's true too. So this is a valid debate. Consider sound is a changing thing because it is made. Does that make sense, Anna? Does that make sense, Anna? Yeah? Okay. So just remember, if this all seems really daunting, and to me sometimes it is, we're covering 8 years of study in 10 classes. So don't get discouraged. Now we're looking at the basic understanding we need to be able to investigate emptiness thoroughly. And this is going to concern objects and subjects. And this gets a little bit twisted up. So just hang in there. We'll try and get it straightened out for you. In Buddhism, there are 51 mental functions. We aren't going to cover all of them today. By studying this carefully, you will be able to eliminate most explanations you've heard about emptiness that are wrong. When you hear an expression for emptiness, like pouring water into water, it is an expression of non-duality. But, I repeat, but it does not mean you're merging into oneness with emptiness. You can't be one with emptiness. Emptiness is the lack of a self-existent thing. So here we go. A person is a changing, functioning, positive object. Emptiness is an unchanging aptness. A positive, changing thing can never become an absence. A person, an enlightened being, both are changing each moment of time, be it the 64 divisions of a finger snap or whatever. Emptiness never changes, a person does. So I can't become one with emptiness. When we're talking about non-duality, we're basically saying emptiness, my emptiness is equal to other emptiness, but it doesn't mean I'm emptiness, because I can't be emptiness. By studying objects, you will never entertain them. By the study of objects, you will never entertain that wrong idea that a person could merge and become one with emptiness. So what is an object? That which is apprehended, that which is seen by a valid perception. Valid perception means that it is reasonable given the information available. Based on what you know at the time, it's true. However, perceptions that are valid may prove to be incorrect in the future, under future analysis. So, you see something dash across the road at night. It is reasonable for you to assume it's a mouse or a small animal. That's reasonable. And it turns out later you find out it was a dog. Okay, it wasn't a mouse, it was a dog. But at the moment, it was reasonable for you to think it was a mouse. An invalid perception refers to perceiving things under the influence of alcohol, drugs, impaired perception. It's an optical illusion, things like that. So nearly every perception we have had is valid given the information at hand. But how many are correct? Madhyamika Prasangika says we have not had a valid perception until we have the direct perception of emptiness. Excuse me. We haven't had a correct perception. We've had valid perceptions all the time, but we haven't had a correct perception until we've had the direct perception of emptiness. So what are synonyms for objects? All the objects in the world, any existing thing, an apprehended thing, a perceived thing. These all refer to everything that exists. So everything that exists in the universe, including the universe, is an object of someone's mind. What about the cosmic dust near Pluto? Who is perceiving that? A Buddha can see all the cosmic dust drifting around the universe, so it exists, at least for them. Objects. Everything you perceive in the universe is either a changing or unchanging thing. We've gone through this before. But we're going to go through it again. This chart that we're going to go through is something you should be able, in your mind, you should be able to write all this down on a piece of paper. I strongly urge you, memorize this chart. It's a lot of information, but if you memorize it or have it handy when you're studying. That's a very important thing. Okay, here we go. All existing things. An existing thing is anything perceived by valid perception, not influenced by drugs, alcohol, hallucinations, etc. It can be divided into unchanging. Emptiness is an example of an unchanging thing. Any existing thing that is not changing instantaneously, but is not permanent. As long as a pen exists, its emptiness is 100%. When the pen no longer exists, neither does its emptiness. All existing things can also be changing things. That which only lasts for an instant is changing instantly, a working or functioning thing. There are three possibilities as a changing thing. First, you could be physical changing thing. That would be an example would be matter, atomic level matter. Anything composed of atomic particles. Concept of a person is a changing thing. It's an active thing. Person is a concept which cannot be touched like the body or irritated like the mind. So the concept of Anna or Daria. Then the changing thing can be mental, happiness. You can be happy or unhappy, but that's not tangible. That's all mental. But it's a changing thing. We confuse mental things with physical matter upon which they seem to relate, i.e. our brain. We point to our brain when we say think about something, but the mind is not located in the brain. Unchanging thing means it will last forever and never. It's poorly translated as permanent. Takpa should be translated as unchanging rather than permanent, because emptiness, which is a classic example of Takpa, is unchanging but not permanent. A changing thing lasts for only an instant. This is the correct definition of a changing thing. So all working things can be divided into the 5 heaps. You may have heard of this before. With each heap composed of many members, hence the term heaps. All these objects can be divided into the 5 parts of a person. The 5 heaps. Heap of form, this refers to physical matter. Outer form, outside of where. It can be defined as outside anything that our conscious covers. But at what point does our body stop being sentient? At our fingernails, at our hair, at our skin? Physical form refers to trees, chairs, mountains. It's hard to make the division between one's body and one's environment. Remember, the room in the death meditation, the last room where you extend your boundary around both people. It's up to you to establish the boundary. You can take all living beings into your heart, extend yourself to be sensitive to all living beings. That's just a decision you have to make. There's no physical boundary to doing that. It is the edge of my skin because I don't feel beyond it. I don't normally feel the tip of my fingernails, so are they not part of me? Anything that's a part of one's experience is as much a part of that person as their body. If someone hits a wall with a hammer, you don't say ouch, unless it's your own wall. Then you wince because it is still part of your experience, and so it's part of your physical heap. But when someone hits a wall, you don't say ouch because it hit you. To me, I'm saying ouch because I've got to fix it. But either way, it's part of my experience, and I have to react to it. The logic scriptures consider that outer physical matter is part of you also. So studying the 5 heaps allows you to see the emptiness of each heap and deconstruct yourself or break yourself down into the 5 parts. If none of the heaps are self-existent, then a self-existent me in total also doesn't exist. Well, they're not self-existent, so there is no independent you independent of these heaps. There is a difference between the subjective 5 parts of you and the you that you think is you. First Panchana Lama. He says, think of what you feel like when someone blames you for something you did not do. Your reaction, I didn't do that. That is a sense of self we're trying to find where and how it truly exists. Try looking in the 5 heaps for you and you will not find you. It's like the 2-headed pink 2-headed purple elephant. Go home and try and find it in every room. You will not find it, and you can then say with certainty that it isn't there. It never was there, nor could it ever be there, because it didn't exist at all. Same as the self-existent you, the one that exists independently of your 5 heaps, does not exist. Second heap of feelings, the ability to experience an object. We have 3 basic feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. So, pleasant physical, unpleasant physical, neutral physical, unpleasant, pleasant, or neutral objects of the 6 senses. The logic school says there's 51 mental functions, but feeling gets to be its own heap for a clear reason. Because it is the source of your future suffering, as you use your ability to experience an object, and then you make a discrimination about that object. It doesn't mean you shouldn't like or dislike things, or you shouldn't be attached to the good things in your life. Buddhas like and dislike things and want to keep their Buddha paradises. It's that you don't do something wrong to get what you want, or you don't do something wrong to dislike, to get away from something you don't want. So it all has to do with doing things with wisdom. You should never commit a bad karma in order to get a good feeling. Doing so is ignorant and won't work because doing bad deeds can never bring you a good feeling. We know that to do kind deeds with wisdom is the way to get pleasant results, even if it takes some time. The 3rd heap is discrimination. Thinking something is good or bad, tall or short, red or blue, warm or hot, discriminating. This is the second big troublemaker in our experience of the world because it takes number two, feelings, and can tempt us to do a non-virtue to gain what we want or to avoid what we don't want. So do we ignore the distinction between what is mine and what is yours so I can use your stuff anytime? Do we ignore the distinction between what is good for you and what is harmful to me? Buddhas have feelings. They discriminate between the hell realms and Buddha paradises. The feeling we need to understand, to guard against, we need to understand and guard against, is an ignorant discrimination that thinks this is mine, that is yours, I want yours, I'm not willing to share mine with you. Now, this is true. I have this controller for my PowerPoint. The ignorance comes when I'm not willing to share that with you. So yes, I have it. It is mine. But until I'm willing to share it with you, I'm being quite ignorant. Instead, to understand the true nature of things, it allows us to use our discrimination to collect the goodness that we need to reach our Buddha paradise. We don't want to give up our discrimination. We want to use it purely. The other factors that make you up, everything not in the other four categories, i.e. the remaining 49 mental afflictions. Sumati, in quotes, the concept Sumati is in this heap. My body is in heap number 1. My feelings are in heap number 2. My ability to discriminate is heap number 3. My consciousness is in heap number 5. So Sumati, in quotes, is none of these. The concept Sumati is none of these. I have them, but I'm a person, and that person, the concept Sumati, does not fit anywhere else in this. The 5 heaps, except under other factors. Other factors mean something that acts like a cause. All our heaps are factors. They all act as causes and help perform functions. And the 5th heap is awareness or consciousness. This is not the brain. Our mind is not in our brain. Why are we aware of everything? Where is your mind? Where did it come from? Why do we have it? Why aren't we rocks? How do we know we aren't rocks? Perhaps we are like rocks to other beings. So subjects. What's the subject? Any existing thing that engages in an object is the definition of a subject. Any existing thing which engages in an object is the definition of a subject. Implying any sentient being's apprehending an object with a valid perception. Subjects must be changing things because to engage in an object, the subject must change. Let me say that again. Subjects must be changing things because to engage in an object, the subject must change. So if I'm looking at one of you, I've changed because I see you now, whereas I didn't see you before. And since I saw you, I, the subject, have changed. You can divide changing things, physical, mental, or conceptual. Which one does the subject fall into? In theory, subjects can be physical, mental, or concept. Physical matter, I sense power, mental, jealousy, concept, Sumati. All these appear to have a subject-object relationship. But really the only one that is valid is mental, because you need to be able to engage with the object. As a subject, you need to be able to engage with the object to make it the object of your attention. Physical matter doesn't see, that I'm aware of, a lump of coal doesn't see a furnace. So it's only the mental has the ability to engage with its object. Well, these are out of order. Mind-making disagrees because they say the mind cannot hold two different objects simultaneously, you and your object. According to logic school, mental things has two divisions: self-awareness, perception and awareness of the perception. We see blue and are aware of seeing blue. Mind-making disagrees because they say the mind cannot hold both seeing blue and be aware of seeing blue. Logic school says we must be aware at the same time as seeing blue, or how could we remember seeing blue? Since it is gone, once it's gone, there'll be no more blue. We will get to this later. We're just planting the seed to discuss this later. So there's self-awareness, and there's awareness of things other than yourself. There's the main mind, and that's consciousness. Then the mental functions. The details say they're 46. The logic school says they're 51. Another way to divide mental things is the concept of valid perception. As before, valid perception includes almost all our moment-to-moment perceptions. Direct valid perception does not involve any conceptualization. Direct perception would be, I'm looking at my phone. I don't have to conceive of it, I'm seeing my phone. First perception of emptiness or conceptual still as valid as a direct perception. And there's deductive, logical, conceptual, valid perception. I hold up a pen, I put it behind my back, you see me do it. It's logical for you to think that there's a pen behind me. You can't see it, you deduce that there's a pen behind me. Hell rooms we deduce or lose or exist. We use material cause and contributing factors as part of the logic for karma and emptiness, belief in karma and emptiness. And there's conventions or consensus or agreement. In our country, Uncle Sam means the federal taxes. The moon is a house for a rabbit in China and the Orient, referring to the moon. Valid perception is a rational belief based on the unquestionable authority of someone who wouldn't lie because they cannot lie, consistent with Scripture and logically proven to you. Lord Buddha himself said, "Don't just believe what I teach, treat it like gold, melt it, cut it, and rub it." Anybody remember what he meant by that? Well, it's like analyzing gold. We have to examine and test all the teachings to see if they're worthy to be followed. Melt it means test it against your own direct experience. In the old days, you took a piece of gold, and if you're going to buy it, you'd get a sample of the gold, and you'd melt it, and you'd have to melt at the right temperature to be gold. And if it's brass and copper put together and it looks gold to you, it'll have a very different melting point. Cut it. Cut it means to test it against your own logical analysis. Are the Buddha's words internally consistent? Cut it, when you're assaying gold, you take a knife and cut in, or something, and cut into the object to see if it's gold plated or not. Rub it, there's a thing called a touchstone back in the day. It's a piece of shale. You take your piece of gold and you rub it on the shale, and it would leave a streak. Then you take a piece of known purity gold and streak it next to that. And you go through the different qualities of gold until you found the streak of your standard that looked the same as the streak of your sample. For example, you build up a relationship with a great Lama over a period of years, and you realize that they would never intentionally mislead you or claim something they don't know to be true. Do the words of the scripture contradict what you believe this authoritative source? So Geshe Michael says something, you don't believe it. You look in the Kangir and you find that it's what he negated when he said something, not that he said it didn't exist. So a good example of this is, well, first of all, Tranye. We're going to study Tranye in Course 15, what the Buddha really meant, literal or figurative. And I think that's a fascinating subject because you have to be careful to make sure you're not taking something that literally that's figurative or taking something figuratively that's literal. For example, that's my favorite example. Lord Buddha said, kill your mother and father, or kill your father and kill your mother. This is obviously meant to be taken figuratively, as meaning that if you're not able to practice your spiritual life well at home with your parents, then move out on your own. Or someone comes up to you and says, I heard the Buddha said, kill your parents. What kind of religion is that? And my answer to that would be, well, first of all, it's not a religion, it's a philosophy. And second of all, you're taking it, whoever told you that is taking it out of context. We're telling you to kill your mental afflictions, who, like your mother and father, give birth to all of your ignorant acts. So it's important to be able to understand the question that's being asked, and have a response to the specific point. So you have a valid perception or a perception which is not valid, under the influence of anger or heated love or drugs, or also if you're in a moving boat and the trees on the shore look like they're moving as well. Or how many of you can recall seeing someone has a tire on their car with fancy spokes, and if you look at the tire long enough, it will look like it's going backwards when they're moving forward. It's just a matter of timing on the how the tire looks like it's rotating. So that would be an optical illusion. So a valid or invalid perception, it's not correct versus incorrect. Correct is free from error, in accordance with some standard that says this is right and this is wrong. A valid perception is well grounded in logic or truth. Logic school. Valid perception is a fresh, unerring perception. Memory is not considered a valid perception, so fresh marks the distinction between a new perception and a memory. Fresh, unerring perception does not refer to memory. And Madhyamika Prasangika disagrees. Madhyamika's definition does include memory. Okay, now we're going to correct reasons. There are three kinds of, first of all, the reason is whatever reason you want to make up. It doesn't have to be true, it just has to be a reason. Three kinds of correct reasons. We study these three kinds of correct reasons so that we are able to prove emptiness to ourselves in many ways, so that we can have the direct perception of emptiness. I think that's very telling for me. Is I sometimes get overwhelmed with the number of definitions of emptiness or not self-existent things. I like one nomenclature, but I'm not fortunate for that to happen. So, first correct reason, a correct reason that involves a cause and a result. Consider a mountain pass where there's a big cloud of smoke. There must be a fire over there because there is so much smoke. So, there's smoke there. The correct reason is that there's a fire there. Number two, a correct reason can involve a nature. This is we're going to cover next class. A correct reason to prove the absence of something. This will be covered in class 7. Most of the proofs of emptiness are based on this type of correct reason, because emptiness is simply the absence of anything which could never have existed in the first place. The self-existent thing, only the idea of self-existent exists. Emptiness is a lack or emptiness of any self-existing thing. So now I have a little formal debate to do. Chichir, who said that, literally means wherefore. It's one of the two answers to a sarcastic rejoinder, which is where the attacker in debate sarcastically says, "You're telling me?" What if the attacker says is, what if what the attacker says is false? You would say to that, who said that was true? If the attacker says true, then you say duh, which means yes, that's right. If the statement in the debate from the attacker has because in it, your responses would be, Takma your reason is incorrect. Kalma it doesn't necessarily follow. Or Jingir, a sarcastic response. When you get to the sarcastic responses, you can either say, duh, yes, that's right, or you can say, Chichir, I did not say that. So here's one more. Here's a debate. Consider the sky. It is green because it has a color. I can't respond with Takma because 1 equals 3. Consider the sky because it has a color. Okay? Here's the sky. It has a color. You can respond with Kapamijong. It doesn't necessarily follow. But in this case, you just move on in the debate. Even with a sarcastic response. So I guess plants are the sky. Well, that's an absurd response. Are you saying sky has a color because it's blue? Duh, yes. So the sky must be wearing blue jeans. Teacher, I did not say that. So that's the end of class today. Subjects and objects, changing, unchanging, mental versus physical or conceptual. All these things add up to ways we're going to attack seeing emptiness, how we attack seeing emptiness directly. So it seems a little disjointed now, but it will all drop into place. I guarantee that. Okay, we're going to be gone for the next basically 2 weeks. What I would really encourage you to do is get caught up with the homework. And I really strongly encourage you to memorize that chart of changing, all existing things, changing and unchanging. Memorize that. And once you've memorized it, look at it every day and fill it out from your mind. And if you can do that, that will serve you very well in the future with arguments and discussions about various topics. Okay, let's dedicate this. May all sentient beings know happiness and the causes of happiness, and may I help them achieve this. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, may I help them achieve this. May all sentient beings never be separated from the highest bliss, which is devoid of suffering, and may I help him achieve this. May all sentient beings come to rest in a great impartiality, which is free from attachment and aversion, and may I help them achieve this. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of happiness and well-being for all embodied beings, the Dharma type of the Buddhas, always increase. Okay, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take advantage of the opportunity to do your homework. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.